Hello everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to read and study the book Instructions to Devout Life written by St. Francis de Sales. The book was a great help for me in learning the practical lessons to live a devout life in the world. It helped me in merging my theoretical, psychological, and philosophical knowledge into practical expression. St. Francis de Sales, who was known as a French priest and doctor of the Church, would have so much to teach the world through his writing. Well, his main focus based on this book is the importance of personal holiness and the pursuit of virtues in the midst of our daily activities. His teaching is that a devout life does not mean perfection, but striving towards greater love for God. For He, our Lord, has spoken to us through the Gospel of St. John chapter 15 verse 9 says, "Abide in my love." Therefore, St. Francis would exhort us to abide in his love by being consistent in prayer and acting with charity towards others with the motto, "Live Jesus." In the introduction to Devout Life, St. Francis presents this motto, making it easy by doing all actions in Jesus, perfecting our lives. He has divided this book into 5 parts. The first part is based on a call to devotion. Francis began this part by adding the needs of everyone to stress for holiness, regardless of the state of being, whether they are priests, lay people, married or single. He calls his reader to live the life with devotion, not in isolation, but with regard in engagement with the world. The second part speaks of growing in holiness through prayer and meditation. As from the letter of St. Paul to the Ephesians chapter 6 verse 18 says, "Pray in the Spirit at all times." Therefore, St. Francis emphasizes in this part the most importance of vocal and mental prayer. He also provides an advice on how to make a prayer as a regular part of a daily life. One of the advices he gave is to make a self-ejaculatory prayer repeatedly, such as "Jesus, Mary, I love you, save so as to cultivate an awareness of God's presence. The third is practice of virtues. Francis presents humility as the foundation of all virtues. Indeed, this virtue, it has been derived from the Gospel of St. Mathew chapter 18 verse 4, which says, "Humble like a child." He states that this virtue derives us towards God, and not only that, it also helps us to see our fault with calmness and firm displeasure. The fourth is overcoming Satan and temptation. St. Francis provides guidance on how to resist the evil spirit that comes through external pressure and internal weakness. He stresses that with God's grace, person can remain in faith and virtuous living. The fifth is all about living one's resolution. In this last part of the book, St. Francis solicits each and every one of us to practice the 3 R's, that is, to renounce, to rebuke, and to reject the evil spirit. And not only that, but above all, to serve and love God by immediate rising even after fall. However, the main aims of this book written by St. Francis de Sales are encourage holiness for all, guidance in living a devout life in the world, cultivate virtues and transformation, overcoming Satan and temptation, perseverance in faith, and the great devotions with practical wisdom. This book has been studied under the supervision of Father James Mathew, SDB. Be who you are and be that well. Thank you.